Let's move now to the extraordinary experience of one man who took on a job which many would have run away from. It was a $65 million project set up by the US State Department. The task was to take on high-valued terrorists and recover hostages, while he led a group of 50 Pathan men, known as the warrior race by many, to take on the Taliban, Al-Qaeda and opium barons in a mountain region where law and order had ceased to exist. Well, that man was retired Special Forces officer Howard Leedham. He's also the author of a book, Ask Forgiveness, Not Permission. Howard, great to have you with me. I've began reading this book, and I know there are going to be some really interesting tales and adventures that you had. But just first of all, a brief introduction I gave there. How on earth did you get involved in this?
Well, it was rather bizarre. I was living and working in the United States, and at the time I was managing and flying business jets. And through a bizarre set of circumstances, the Department of State found out about me, found out about my past, and then one day I simply got a call asking me if I'd be their man in Pakistan. I initially said I wasn't interested, but then they got me in, spoke to me, and persuaded me that it was something worth taking on.
I think, yeah, okay, something worth taking on, but something that would involve some personal sacrifice as well, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it was a year of obviously a year of my life, and going out there obviously had some significant risks attached to it, but I felt confident that given my previous experiences that I could go out there and not only stay safe but make an impact on the program that they were trying to run out there.
Let's talk about the people you were working with. These are Pashtun mountain men.
Yeah.
25 you had initially.
Yeah, initially.
But as we hear about green on blue attacks constantly now, and it's about trust. How do you, a British man, engender the trust of these men who really didn't need a leader, or would have felt they didn't need a leader?
Well, I was very fortunate. The first 25, they call them Pathans in Pakistan, Pashtun in Afghanistan. But my Pathans were under the command of a general, very visionary general called General Sadaqat Ali Shah, and he assigned those men to me. So they had allegiance to him, and by him bringing me in, I kind of got their allegiance on very slow burn as we went along. And throughout the period of time that I was there, I was able to win their trust because they became as operationally dependent on me as I was on them. That said, I always made sure that I was adequately self-protected, so that if anything...
So you never completely trusted them, is that fair to say?
Well, no, it's not fair to say I never completely trusted them. How much can you completely trust anyone? So all I was saying is that I'd never risk my life to an extent where I wouldn't be able to protect it if something went wrong.
Give me an example of some of the operations that you had to...
Well, one of the type of operation that we'd like to do is we'd like to go out there and, if you like, unhinge the expectation of the enemy. So we did some very simple things. We would use the State Department gifted helicopters as our manoeuvre. So we would get dropped off several kilometres from where we were going to go. We'd patrol in under the cover of darkness, and then, for instance, on a border road, a remote border road, all of a sudden put up snap roadblocks. We knew that we wouldn't perhaps find anything on the roadblocks, but what we did know is that we knew that rumours would then go out of who are these guys. All of a sudden, this very professional group of initially 25 Pathans and then grew to 50 were snapping up apparently out of nowhere and unhinging the sort of traffic between Kandahar and Quetta and the Baluchi, the general Baluchi border. I like to think we made a bit of a difference. Yeah, I think we made a little bit of a dent, yes.
And the group eventually increased up to 50.
Yeah.
But the project itself only lasted a year.
Well, the project lasted a year. It actually tried to extend beyond the year. But the reason why the operation worked was because I think we had a convergence, if you like. I had to use the word perfect storm while Superstorm Sandy going, but we had a perfect storm, if you like, of operational entrepreneurs, in so much as we had a visionary general in Quetta. We had a couple of very good American pilots that were assigned to train the Pakistani pilots, and then obviously myself coming in and trying to pull it all together.
I need to talk to you. We've been hearing from Quentin Somerville, our correspondent in Kabul, about the latest green on blue attack. They're still happening, more than 50 in recent times.
Yeah.
Can you see any way of preventing these from continuing?
Well, as we said earlier on, I managed to, if it was going to happen, I managed to prevent it by producing some sort of dependence between me and the Pathans that I was with. My opinion is that you can never take your guard down. You always have to have some level of protection. And so far as the commanders are concerned, they always have to assess the risk versus return for the kind of blending that they're going to do between Allied troops and indigenous troops.
OK. Howard Leedham, thanks very much for joining me. Good luck with the book.
Thank you for telling us your story. Thank you very much.